Well, hello and welcome to SoCal Prep Report. My name is Randy Rosenbaum. Jam-packed program for you today, covering a lot of different sports. Football, obviously, first and foremost. John Ellinghouse will be our guest, head football coach of Sierra Canyon. He's brought his quarterback with him as well, Wyatt Becker. They're 10-0, having a phenomenal year. They're on to the D1 playoffs in the southern section, and we'll talk to the guys about that. I have Tarek Fatal here. We'll talk to Tarek as well from SB Live, my fine co-host. But I have to have a shout-out for my North Hollywood Huskies. They finally won a city title. They get it done in girls tennis. They won. They defeat Eagle Rock to win the city championship. We even got a picture. My Huskies win it 2 years in a row. They knocked off Venice, won the title last year. They get the championship again this season. Go Huskies. All right, enough about my alma mater. Tarek, we got issues with officials in the southern section in soccer.
Yeah, I think what's happening here is the southern section already made a deal with officials in various other sports and gave raises and so on and so forth, and that was just this past last year, So they come in with this new rate, and they're already the soccer's asking for more money. So I just find it hard to believe the southern section is going to budge on that, and I hope it doesn't jeopardize the soccer season for boys and girls soccer.
I agree with you there, obviously. All right, let's talk about the football game. Some really key games last week that went down. We always start with St. John Bosco, since they're ranked number one, and Bosco prevailed again in the Trinity League. They're very solid, both themselves and Notre Dame. I mean, Mater Dei. It's like Notre Dame. But and Mater Dei, both were terrific in their final game of the season.
Yeah, they won 44-22, and, this is the number one team to beat right now, right? They beat Mater Dei 28-0, so the Braves aren't slowing down. They have a week off before Division I playoffs start next week.
And Mater Dei hammered Santa Margarita. A little tougher game, but they pulled away at the end to finish their season 9-1, winning by 16 over Santa Margarita.
Mater Dei, right now, their biggest strength is up front, and they're having a hard time. Teams are having a hard time dealing with that.
I'm having a hard time dealing with this result. Rancho Cucamonga, I was on their bandwagon last week. They were unbeaten, and you can see they fell to Upland by a field goal.
I call Upland the most slept-on team in Southern California. They finished the season 8-2, and they shock Rancho Cucamonga for the Baseline League co-champion title, and they're going to have a good postseason.
As we jump into the city section, I know you were at this game at the Coliseum, a Coliseum League game. Dorsey gets by Kings Rue.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise. I don't think anybody expected Dorsey to do that, and they end up getting a share of the Coliseum League championship.
We all expected Garfield to knock off Roosevelt, and they did just that. This is not unexpected. Garfield, with 9 wins in a row now, dominates the Rough Riders.
Yep, Garfield's on to the postseason. They're number 2 seed in the city section, and we have this collision course between Birmingham and Garfield, maybe again for the Open Division City Finals.
Not forget Carson, and we don't forget them here either, because they won their final game of the regular season, the annual rivalry game with Banning, 13-0. A little score. That's a lower score than we thought.
It is, and we know they've got their two-way player, Jerry Misa Alafua, linebacker and running back. To me, Carson was the sleeper, but when they lost to Gardena and then only 13-0 to Banning, I just kind of wonder if they'll have the juice to get through the postseason.
Speaking of juice, these players had a lot of juice last week. Here are some of our top performances. We'll start with Husan Longstreet, the outstanding quarterback at Corona Centennial. He had a big game. Throws for better than 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in the win over Norco. Caleb Sanchez, St. John Bosco's quarterback, nearly 400, 6 touchdowns in the W over Oulu. Brian Wilson, Roosevelt Eastville, 6 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns rushing, in a loss to Chaparral.
Chaparral, this was a really, really odd and funny game. They were down 21 points, then they come back, and then Roosevelt had the lead, and Chaparral won on a free kick. They fair caught a punt, and they were able to actually do a free kick to win the game. Very, very odd play to win a game.
I thought I was watching a game from the 1940s
exactly,
when that
exactly.
happened. How about Darius Curry of Long Beach Poly? Ties the school record. He's the 3rd Jackrabbit to throw 3 for 7 touchdowns in a game, and that, again, it ties the school record in a big win. They win every week. They knocked off Jordan. Luke Cochran, the running back at Moore Park, nearly 300 yards and 5 touchdowns in the win over Agoura. And Benjamin Villarreal, running back at Franklin, goes for nearly 300, 2 touchdowns and a win over Eagle Rock. What's amazing to me, when you think of Franklin, they always throw the ball. And for a running back to run for 300, that's amazing.
It is impressive. And Darius Curry, I think, is probably one of the front runners per se, I would say, for like being a player of the year type. Certainly a Press Telegram player of the year, but maybe when you look at Southern California, what he's done for Long Beach Poly, he's certainly made them go.
Let's look at our Southern Section top 10, provided by SB Live's Tarek Fatal. There it is. Bosco, Mater Dei Centennial, Sierra Canyon. We're going to talk to the guys in a moment. Long Beach Poly, your top 5.
Yeah, this is the final rankings. I don't do rankings in the postseason. I think, I think this is it for the year. And, a lot of people have Sierra Canyon higher. I keep them at 4 because I want to respect St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, and Corona Centennial. And until they lose to someone in the neighborhood, I think they maintain those 3 spots.
And you see that Rancho Cucamonga drops to 9 after the loss.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, there was like conspiracy theorists out there. If Rancho, remember, Division I took 8 teams. Rancho was 7 in Cal Preps. If they would have won, they probably would have hung out and been in Division I. So they lose, and they're the number 1 seed in Division II. I'm not so sure they go through that division and win it. That's a tough division.
I think the number 1 team should be Sierra Canyon. They're undefeated, 10-0. John Ellinghouse is the head coach. He's won a couple state titles before. He has with him Wyatt Becker tonight. So let's bring the guys in. Coach, I know you're relaxing. It's a bye week. You're probably going to the beach every day, not worried about Santa Margarita. No, seriously, I know you're very involved about this football game. First and foremost, congratulations, guys, to qualify for your first ever D1 championship tournament. How did it come about, Coach? How'd you get it done?
It's been a special year. It's been one of those years where, the team has been playing and getting better every week, and it's been fun group of kids that play for one another, and so far it's been amazing.
Wyatt, since you stepped foot on campus at Sierra Canyon, I know even before you got to Sierra Canyon, even at Notre Dame, I've been covering the Sierra Canyon program. There has been this march to the Division I playoffs. Coach Ellinghouse has spoken about it. The program has been vocal about it. You come in, you're the quarterback, and you've been able to help them take that next step. But from the moment you got on campus, was it obvious that was their goal?
Yeah, I'd say everyone on this team has a common vision. We obviously have a lot of talent, and we have amazing coaches that help us every week. But yeah, everyone has a common goal, and I think that's our common goal is to keep going 1-0 every week. And now we're at the Division I playoffs, so our goal is just to keep going.
John, I know you've been doing this a long time, 17 years, the state championships, the climb up the proverbial ladder. You're tired, but you're a proud man right now, aren't you, for getting it done at this level?
No doubt. We've built a program here that we're really, really proud of. We're proud of the things that we've been able to accomplish. And, we've had a game plan, and we're sticking to it, which is, just keep getting better every year. We're very fortunate to win some championships along the way, and this is the next step.
Wyatt, talk about your game a little bit. For those viewers out there, what kind of quarterback are you? You're moving with your legs, you sit in the pocket. Describe your game.
I'd say I can make on-time throws when needed. I can play I can throw scripted throws, but then when something breaks down, I can make plays with my legs or extend plays in that way. So I'd say I can get it done in the pocket and outside the pocket.
Coach, for you, I've covered your program for almost a decade. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've made the Division I playoffs, but you're just not happy to be there. You will be disappointed if you lose. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because this is the first time you've gotten to the Division I playoffs in program history.
No doubt. I mean, it's kind of funny. Wyatt can tell you what my pre-practice speech was today. I mean, we didn't do all this to be here. We did this to make a splash. We think we belong. We think that we have an incredible amount of respect for the teams that have been here and have done this. But our program's goal is to be here, to stay here, and to win these games.
Wyatt, what'd he say? Coach teed us up. What'd he tell you?
Yeah. He told us we worked hard all season, and this is what we wanted from the start. We wanted to win it all, and it would be great to win it all on the biggest stage, and that's what we've been working for, and that's what hopefully we can do.
Wyatt, you had a game against Saguaro in Arizona where you ran for a touchdown. A lot of quarterbacks do that, but not a lot of quarterbacks run for a touchdown and throw 7 touchdowns in the same game. Talk about the experience in that game, and did you just say to yourself that night, I got it, this is my night?
Yeah, that was probably the craziest game I've ever had in my life. Leading up to the game, we had a good week of practice. And I remember thinking with the game plan, our first play was a play that I really liked. And I was thinking before the game, I'm like, I'm going to score on this first play. And then we ran the play. I got the look I wanted, and it hit for an 80-yard touchdown. And after that, I was kind of like, okay, all right, it's gonna be fun tonight.
John, my last question to you, for those watching, describe the identity of this football team. I know the defense is really, really good, but is that what you hang your hat on? Maybe it's something else we don't know.
We started the year saying that we were going to have to hang the hat on our defense in the beginning, right? Because we had some new pieces, and that our offense needed some time to gel. And our defense has been phenomenal the entire season. It's just been unbelievable to watch those guys play. We got a great coaching staff with Coach Rizzo as the defensive coordinator. But our offense has gotten where we're dangerous. You just talked about a quarterback who, we as coaches spend our whole week trying to plan for what happens when things go right. But the thing that's special about Wyatt is when things go wrong, which is about 50% of the time, he still makes things go right. And, that kid's been unreal for us this year. I'm so proud of the season he's had. I knew he had this ability. But we've got Division I receivers, we got great tailbacks, and a great quarterback, great offensive line, and then, like I said, supported by an unreal defense. So I think the teams have to pick their poison, and it's our goal to try to make them wrong whenever they do that.
Wyatt, how excited are you to play in a playoff game against Santa Margarita and get your chance? And what are you looking forward to in that game? Because you've seen the film on that football team.
I'm pumped up. I'm always going to bet on our guys, and I think we have a real shot to do something special this year in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to it and showing people what we can do.
Well, congratulations to both you. Coach Ellinghouse, we've known you for a while, going back a few years. And obviously, Wyatt, it's nice to be introduced to you. You're a junior, came in from Notre Dame into Sierra Canyon. You're playing a great brand of football, and you guys are to be commended. We wish you the best of luck. Enjoy the bye week. I know you're still working hard on the bye week. And we'll see you down the road, and best of luck. Maybe we'll see the Blazers in the final.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having us on.
You got it.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. They've had a great year, 10-0. Like I said before, the only team in your top 10 that's undefeated.
People don't, I think, real quick, I think a lot of people from the outside looking in, they think about Sierra Canyon, and I wouldn't call it unfortunately, they generally think about the basketball first.
They do.
And they think about the celebrities at the games and the pizzazz and all the lights and stuff. And then there's John Ellinghouse, who's one of the most down-to-earth guys that started this program with 8-man football.
He did.
And here they are in the Division I playoffs. So to me, that's always kind of just the grounding program for that school.
You know where he made his big mistake? He did not get Bronny James to come out for football.
Oh, man.
Then he would have got all the attention in the world.
That's a good point, yeah.
I try to bring up good points on this. All right, let's look at the Southern Section Division I bracket. And again, these guys are on vacation for a while. They have a week to prepare for the upcoming game. So we'll take a look at the D1 brackets. And now you're the bracket broker. Tarek's actually the guy that put all this information out for the Southern Section. So lay it out for us, Mr.
It was kind
Fattel.
of, some people weren't huge fans of that, but that's okay. If you're not ruffling feathers, what are you doing? St. John Bosco, San Clemente. Look, I don't see how San Clemente can hang, but it's a very, very good program. They do have a good defense, but again, I just think St. John Bosco is the team to beat.
I love Corona Centennial, Weather City. Longstreet is getting better.
Sure.
I know Olu's a good team out of the Trinity League, but I just trust Matt Logan on that bottom game. I think they're a very dangerous game.
No, I think it would not be surprising. Chalk, as they say, right? St. John Bosco, the 1 seed will go through, and Centennial should. They'll be at home against Olu, and the big player for them is Cornell Hatcher. He's the running back that's having a great year.
Oh, he has been phenomenal.
Here's the bottom side of the bracket. Sierra Canyon, Santa Margarita, that's the 3 and 6 matchup. So that'll be really, really interesting. Against Santa Margarita, a Trinity League team that is very, very capable.
And Mater Dei already hammered JC. I think it was 41-0 when they met in the regular year. So
42-0, something like that.
I know it was bad, whatever it was. It was easy for the Monarchs that night. All right, let's move ahead and take a look at the Division II bracket. which really has phenomenal games. Every game on here
Correct.
can go either way, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Edison's very, very good. I saw them earlier in the year, and they lost to Palos Verdes, but they've gotten a lot better, and that's the true mark of a great team, or a good team is one that's getting better. I've seen teams in the past, in the beginning of the season, and then at the end, and then okay, this team didn't get any better. Edison is not that team. Murrieta Valley, Bear Bachmeyer, really good quarterback. Damien kind of slipped up at the end, lost 2 in a row, but still finished 8-2. They'll be a tough out. Murrieta Valley probably wins that game at home, though. Oaks Christian Chaparral. Chaparral won 3 games in a row at the end of the year to finish second in the Big West Upper League, and they're going to be on the road to Westlake Village.
I love Ryan Rakowski, the young freshman quarterback at Palos Verdes. 20 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But this is a big ask, and they're undefeated 10-0. They're stepping up in class.
The Palos Verdes on the road to Mission Viejo, Randy, that's like, dang.
That's a tough draw.
This 10-0 team that probably played themselves too high, and that's a tough out. Then there was a couple other games. Sarah of Gardenia's playing Bishop Almont. That's a rematch in the Mission League. And I think the game of the bracket is Upland Los Alamitos. That, to me, is probably the best game on Friday night.
And what about Division III? We'll check that out. There's always good games. There's so much depth in the southern section. There's so many quality units out there. So we'll go over this bracket for you as well.
So St. Francis is going to be on the road to San Juan Hills. St. Francis, Dean Harrington, John Sanders, very capable team. San Juan Hills, though, good athletes, and that could be a tough matchup for St. Francis, but they'll be well coached and ready to go. Lusinger and Citrus Valley, I'll be honest, don't know too much about those teams other than I know Lusinger is athletic and has size. Pacifica of Oxnard. Now, here's a big question mark. I hate to bring it up, but they got in a brawl last week with Oxnard High School, and there will be ejections and suspensions handed down. So I don't know. Pacifica had this great 10-0 year. I don't know who's going to be available for that game. And the last one, or one down there, Etowanda St. Bonaventure, that's a toss-up game.
Yeah, that's 2 quality teams. Tustin is another team. We're looking at these brackets against Warren. Very interesting game. Tustin has not lost. They're one of these few teams that's sitting out there with that 10-0 type record that's really good.
If I'm not mistaken, I know it says November 3rd. If I'm not mistaken, they're playing right now. That's a Thursday night game going on right now. So, yeah, they are a 10-0 team. That's another example of a team that probably played themselves a little too high. But, hey, Division III is probably – they probably should be in Division IV. Division III is not too bad.
All right, I like those. These are really good games. It's just really nice to see all these brackets and how much talent there is out there and how well they've done. Milliken Rams against Villa Park. That, again, is a tight game. I know you've seen Chaminade, Eaglewood. Those 2 teams met last year in the semifinals.
That's right. So that was a D2 semifinal last year. Now they're in Division III. A little bit of different years compared to last year, but that Division II final went into overtime last year. Englewood ended up going to the D2 final, and who did they lose to? Sierra Canyon.
All right, here's a key game in Division IV. Can't believe Moore Park is in D4, but they are with a 9-1 record. Yorba Linda is the team they will play. I love Luke Cochran, the running back for the Musketeers, 1,317 yards and 26 touchdowns.
He's their standout. He's their workhorse. Ryan Husengay is the coach at Moore Park. They haven't had this success since guess who was running the fields at Moore Park? A little bit of quiz. Can you get it?
No.
He's in the NFL. His last name is a major city in the world. Drake London. You got it, Randy. You got it. So they haven't really been good since he's been around, and here they are 9-1. Kudos
Drake
to the
was
Musketeers.
a good basketball player.
He was a very good basketball
really good
player.
Played in the Battle of the Valley. Did you know that?
Okay, yeah.
We probably didn't know.
Won the dunk contest. Oh, no, I actually might have been Jaime Jaquez that won the dunk contest. All right, we're falling off the rails. We'll
do anything to get to basketball.
Yeah.
All right, key game in D5. Northview and Bonita, both with 8-2 records.
Well, I brought this game up as kind of like a game to watch because it's a rematch. Northview beat Bonita. I believe the score was 14-13 in the regular season. So when you're talking about, in basketball, they say, oh, it's so tough to beat a team twice or 3 times, whatever. But anytime you see a team again, it's hard to beat them again. So I don't know, man. Maybe Bonita has the edge in that one.
How about Long Beach Jordan and Chino? Chino's another one of those undefeated teams. As we take a look at key game in Division 7.
So you think Division 7, listen, Palos Verdes is in Division 2. The other one was Tustin in Division 3. So Chino's usually, Randy, they're like in Division 9, 10, 11. Well, they've played themselves in Division 7. So they're playing way higher up than they should. Do not be surprised if Long Beach Jordan from the Moore League knocks off the number 1 seed in that division. Just don't be surprised.
I heard it here first, but he's the bracket broker.
Here we go.
The key game in Division 13, Miller at Grace Brethren. I know you've seen Grace Brethren.
Yeah, Grace Brethren, and look, I put this up there. They're not world beaters. Division 13 is the second to lowest division in the section, but I keep bringing up this story because it's just so good. You can't write this stuff up. This was an 11-man powerhouse state program that literally dissipated overnight in 2019 before the pandemic. After the 2019 season, going into 2020, they did not have a 2020 season. 2 years of 8-man football. Now they're back in 11-man football. They don't even have a league. They got in at an at-large berth as a freelance team in Division 13 in their first year back as 11-man football. Pretty awesome.
Great story. Speaking of stories, Birmingham's won 39 straight games in the LA City section against city opponents. They're ranked number 1. Here's the final city poll. Mr. Fatal put this together and his fine company at SB Live. Birmingham ranked number 1. Garfield, which is a fair assessment, is number 2. As we look at the poll, Gardena 9-1, and they're coming off a great win. They won at Narbonne 28-3 after beating Carson the week before. You can see Carson's up there after shutting out Banning. Granada Hills is 5th with their great running back Darrell Stanley. Then Palisades, San Pedro, Narbonne, Banning. The only team to beat Gardena, by the way. They beat Gardena by 1, did the Pilots. And Franklin, the Panthers, 7-2-1.
Franklin's the team that's, I believe, Banning's the number 1 seed in Division 1, if I'm not mistaken. So that's
those are the top 2 seeds, Banning and Franklin.
There you go. So, yeah, these top 8 teams are what make up the open division. I just don't see – I had so much hope for Carson, but the way they've kind of floundered at the end of the year, in my opinion, makes me feel like it's Birmingham again. But then there's Garfield. It's played kind of in a weaker league, so you don't really know where they lie.
Why are you forgetting Gardena? Gardena went right through the Marine League at the end of the year, lost one heartbreaking game.
I'm not. They're a sleeper to me. They're still a sleeper to me.
He doesn't buy Gardena. I don't know. All right, let's take a look at the brackets in D1. Maybe he'll be sold on Gardena after he looks at the brackets here. And again, they don't play this week because it's an 8-man tournament. It's the open division in the LA City section, and Birmingham is the number 1 seed, and they'll be a heavy favorite over Narbonne. And Carson and Granada is an interesting game, and you're probably going to go to that game.
Correct. And these games are all played on Thursday night, so that's why not November 10th, but November 9th, Birmingham, Narbonne. Birmingham's going to roll through that game. That Carson-Granada game, I do think Carson will probably end up winning that game. They're a little more versatile. And with Granada, it's like you know what's coming. It's the run. So as long as you stay disciplined, you should be able to stop the Highlanders.
Yeah, Bucky Brooks does a great job with that running game, the head coach at Granada Hills. And again, they were a city champion last year. Now let's move ahead. There's Gardena and the Palisades Dolphins. I do like Gardena in that game. Garfield and San Pedro. Interesting game, but the Bulldogs are rolling. They've won 9 in a row.
I think Bulldogs will win that game. The Gardena Palisades game, I'm just not sold on Gardena. I don't know why. Palisades, to me, might be able to air it out and beat Gardena. But I do know this about Gardena, which is big in the city. They're big up front. They have size and they're physical up front, and that tends to help win ball games.
D1 bracket. There's 16 in Division 1. They'll start this week, and we're going to go through these fairly quickly. There's Banning, who should be the favorite here coming out of the Marine League. Cleveland's got a great team with Corey Hall being the star. They're dangerous. That's the 8-9 game with Kennedy, which won the Valley Mission League. Dimely, which has faltered near the end of the year. There's Dorsey, that's really come on. I like Hawkins, the quarterback at El Camino, but he's only a 10th grader, so I don't think they'll win there. Crenshaw and Marquez, good game there. Venice, always strong in the playoffs. Big favorite over Huntington Park. Again, this is D1. Hamilton and King Drew. That one could go either way. Yep. Franklin has a great passing attack, but we just saw Villarreal run for nearly 300 yards. So perhaps if they have the running game to go with the passing game, they will end up winning it. But Franklin is the number 2 seed.
My sleeper is King Drew. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, they do have athletes.
They have athletes.
Yeah.
They got to put it together, and guys are injured, and it just seems like there's just kind of, if they can just put it together, I think they might make a run.
This weekend is the volleyball finals for both the southern section and the city. No surprise in the southern section. Mater Dei and Miracosta, they split during the regular year. They both have winning streaks, long winning streaks coming into the finals again. This was anticipated. It'll be at Cerritos College this weekend. Should be a great match.
I often say as much as popular as high school basketball is for the women's and girls side, it's girls volleyball. That's as rampant. It's just it's so popular and such a great sport, and it's not surprising to me that we're going to see two huge programs go at it for the Division I championship.
Yeah, the Mustangs have won 15 straight. The Monarchs 19 straight. So those are the teams in the finals. In the city section, it's El Camino and Taft out of the West Valley. Kind of a surprise. They knocked off Palisades and Venice in the semis, the two West Valley League teams. These teams are familiar with one another. ECR won 2 out of the 3 meetings. They actually played a third time in a tournament. So this one could go either way as well. I don't know who I like in this. It could go either way.
But I'm just confirming. Given on past results, ECR might be like a slight favorite.
I'd say slight dog.
Slight dog. Are you
if
saying
you're
Taft
looking,
beat them?
Forgetting this year, if you
Okay.
just look at tradition, Taft has a little bit more tradition. They're
Right.
both strong
But
programs.
how did they do in league play this
split.
year? They split. Oh, okay, man. Yeah,
split.
toss it. That
Pick it.
that makes for a fun final.
Yeah, let's get a coin for both the volleyball men.
Hold on, pick one. I'll pick ECR.
I'll pick Taft.
Done.
Taft. Toreadors. Let's go Toreadors. They're going to win it. Let's talk about the Southern Section Clippers, not the LA Clippers, the Southern Section Clippers, because that's who they are. Let's take a look at this roster.
Whoa.
Where did all these guys, and that's nice.
Whoa.
Where did all these guys go to high school?
Whoa.
The Southern Section.
Wow, look at this graphic. Oh, yeah, man. Covered, I was a little bit, I'm only in the game 9 years, so I didn't cover Russ, Kawhi, James, or Paul, but I did cover Brandon Boston at Sierra Canyon. He was really good. I mean, look at how talented it just goes to show you,
Why
man.
is everyone in LA rooting for the Lakers? This is the
That's
team.
kinda
They're
like
all local
It literally is
kids.
the epitome of a home team. And you could even go a step further and go SoCal Clippers. Norman Powell went to Lincoln in San Diego. That's only 2.5 hours from here. So
But that's the San Diego section. I'm calling them the Southern
I'm
section.
just saying, if you want to take it a step further and root for guys that are, at least in this neck of the woods per se. I'm trying to make your point. My word.
I know. I agree with you. Make my point. Speaking of basketball, Tarek has come out with his top 25 already for the preps. I know you have Harvard Westlake ranked number 1. They were the Open Division state champion a year ago.
Yeah, I got St. John Bosco 2, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but East Vale of Roosevelt with Braden Burries and Isaac Williamson. I think I have it 3, or that's Corona Centennial. I have it 3. Roosevelt at 4. Corona Centennial is so good. Windward, Mater Dei, J. Sarah. These teams are really, really good. I think there are 4, maybe even 5 locks for the Open Division, which is 8 teams in the Southern section. And you've got probably another 6 or 7 teams that are going to be vying for those final 3 spots in the Open. It'll be a really fun basketball season.
You always got to enjoy Corona Centennial. They always seem to be there. St. John Bosco's got a great backcourt. Speaking of backcourt, Perry is tremendous for Harvard Westlake.
Yes, Trent
I
Perry.
like Himenia, the shooting forward for Harvard Westlake. There's a lot of great teams in prep basketball coming up, and that's Tarek's little preview of the season. Speaking of preview, I want to preview the fact that we're going to have the flag football championships here on LA 36. Coming up, we're going to have the Open and D1 in the LA City section. We're really excited about this. And all the favorites pretty much won in the Open. The D1 games are going on today. But the Open played yesterday, most of them, although San Pedro, who's ranked number 1, plays tomorrow. But everyone else played, and most of the top seeds won. No surprises. Marshall looks strong. Eagle Rock looks great. So those are the teams that will be on hand that we'll probably see at Birmingham in the middle of the month. But flag football's doing really well right now.
I saw highlights of the Birmingham flag football. Jessica Rose,
She threw a touchdown.
running for 40-yard touchdowns and tiptoeing the sidelines, and So San Pedro is the number 1 seed in the Open Division.
Yeah.
Where does Birmingham? I haven't looked.
I want to say they're 6th.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me Birmingham to win the whole thing.
No.
Yeah, Jim Rose at the controls.
Jim Rose may be a good coach.
By the way, did you see the score of the Birmingham Taft football game last week?
I saw that. I didn't want to bring that up.
Oh, I'm bringing it
You notice
up.
we skipped over, and I just said they've won X amount of games in a row. Would they have 63 at half? Was it?
It was 42-0 at
63
46-0
at half,
at the
wasn't
end
it?
of the first quarter.
Right.
The final score, if I'm not mistaken, was 83-6.
Yes, but Taft scored last. They were trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last game, right? So maybe you're only as good as your last score.
You know, we're going to make a comeback next week. We're going to wrap it up for now. Tarek, that was a busy show. Great job. Fun having you on.
Yeah, looking forward to playoffs. Real quick, I know we got like about 10 seconds. This is my favorite time of year. It's busy, but as football winds down,
Here he goes.
basketball winds up, baby.
Hoops.
Let's go.
We'll see you next week right here on SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody. You in the
Did you have a
basketball
good
stuff
jump?
already?
I just feel like you just might have had a
I
good
could
jump.
shoot it a little bit, but I was a banger inside. I
Yeah,
played
like
bully
you
ball.
were, you
I was
were
a bully
physical,
ball.
so you crashed the ball.